Hello, and thank you for staying tuned to the show that goes around the continent to bring you stories near and far. I am Bukola Koka here at Channels Television in Lagos, and I'm joined by Vincent McCory from Voice of America in Washington, D.C.
Thanks, I'm Vincent McCory at the Voice of America. Happy to be with you again for another edition of Africa 54. Let's start off with the latest from Nigeria. Channels Television brings you that story.
The people of Ekiti State have asked the government to promote the state's numerous tourist sites to potential investors, which could create job opportunities and bring significant economic benefit, generate revenue, and boost the economy, especially amid the current challenges in Nigeria.
Ekiti State, located in southwest Nigeria, is a treasure trove of tourism waiting to be unleashed. With a population of 2.8 million, it's the most homogeneous state in the country, yet its tourism potentials are incredibly diverse. Ikogosi Warm Springs Resort is a wonder of nature. Imagine soaking in the natural wonder of Ikogosi Warm Springs Resort, where warm and cold water merge, yet retain their thermal identities. The tour guide also explains the wonders of the warm and cold water.
I'm right here at the meeting point of the cold and the warm. The cold water is brownish in color, while the warm water is the bright colored water. And here is the meeting point of the two types of waters.
This haven has attracted 190,000 tourists, including 30 foreigners, between 2011 and 2013. Thanks to the governor, Mr. Biodun Oyebanji, power supply has been restored after a decade, making it even more appealing.
We have over 150 staff. IGL has grown, people are energetic youths that will have been roaming the streets, are better engaged. They are part of our landscape team, they are part of our management team. So it's been a win-win for all.
People of Ekiti will be able to cruise on Ureje Dam. And before Easter next year, people of Ekiti will be able to cruise on Ero Dam.
In Okemesi Ekiti, a museum showcasing relics of the Ekiti Parako Freedom War.
There is one rock in Elisha called Olua Rock, which is yearning for development. It has not been recognized for now.
Other breathtaking spots include Arinta Waterfalls, 10 meters of chilly water cascading down with potential for hydroelectric power generation, Ero Dam and Okewo waiting to be developed for tourism. With these gems, Ekiti people are eager to tap into tourism for economic growth. The state government says it is committed to develop these sites, collaborating with the Federal Ministry of Tourism.
And joining us now to discuss the appeal of the Ekiti people to the government to develop their tourist sites is the Director General, Bureau of Tourism, Ekiti State, Mr. Wale Ojo-Lanre. Hello and welcome to the program.
Thank you, my sister. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. So let's begin this way. How would you assess the current state of tourism in Ekiti State, and what's the potential that you see, particularly for the state's economic transformation?
Yeah, the current state of tourism in Ekiti State is that Ekiti State is a paragon of tourism. God has blessed Ekiti with numerous tourism potentialities, which are only waiting to be enhanced. And we thank God for giving us a governor in the person of His Excellency, Biodun Abayomi Oyebanji, who realizes that Ekiti, one, is a landlocked state, that Ekiti has no Atlantic on the right and lagoon on the left. And that the only thing we have in Ekiti, apart from agriculture, is tourism to transform and develop Ekiti. So that is the state where we are in Ekiti. Thank you.
A few months ago, your state announced a partnership with the United Nations World Tourism Organization to develop a master plan, a tourism development master plan for Ekiti State. Has that been done? And if it has been done, What are the components of this master plan, and what is the strategy to implement it for economic transformation in Ekiti?
Oh, let me tell you, let us lay the basic fundamentals. My sister, for the first time in the history of United Nations tourism, to partner with a state, they don't partner with a state. They either partner with a country or a regional government. But because of the visionary and proactiveness of Governor Biodun Oyèbánjí, the United Nations agreed and they sent a delegation to have a first-time experience of what Ekiti State is, and it is in progress.
So
and the other thing we have to do that the government wants us to do is to have a tourism policy. After the policy, then the master plan. Both the policy and the master plan is in the pipeline.
So work on the master plan hasn't commenced yet. You're still working on the policy.
The master plan has commenced. We have gotten the technical partner in Nigeria. That is very clear. And we have gotten the international partner. That is UNDP and the United Nations Tourism. So work has commenced. As work commences on, there are stages. And before you understand, the tourism policy is on.
So in order to engender tourism development and create a conducive environment for the investors to come into Ekiti State to develop these sites, is the state developing infrastructure around these sites, good roads, water, transportation for easy access combined with good roads, construction of hotels and resorts around these tourist sites? Is this being done by the state, or is it being considered in the first place?
Let me answer the first question. We are talking of public-private partnership. Let me tell you, the governor of Ekiti State, His Excellency Biodun Oyèbánjí, made it clear to us that government has no business in big business. He made it explicitly clear that tourism is private sector driven, and this is first thing the government has been done. Three sites in Ekiti State are the concession to private sector. The focus in cold and warm spring has been concession to a company called Kavista. If you take a trip to Ekiti State, you thank the governor and past governor in this state of their decision to concession that warm and cold spring to Kavista. Kavista has done excellently well. Excellently, by transforming the former Itato moribund resort into a first-class resort that has been awarded three times, that has bagged 3 times the best tourism site in Nigeria. The second part of the question is that the state government is ready to partner, provide enabling environment. One, we have good roads in Ekiti State. Very good roads. Our airport will open in the next 3 months. Before December, you can take a ticket from Lagos and come to Ekiti. So we have the internal road. Internal road is great. And the few federal government roads is being rehabilitated. I assure you, take a trip to Ekiti State, enjoy our tourism compliment, enjoy our tourism potentiality, and you'll be great.
All right. Message well taken, and I believe that, Nigerians are also excited about this as much as you are. Mr. Wale Ojolanre, Director General, Bureau of Tourism, Ekiti State, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you, Mr. God bless you.
We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. And check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. After the break, electrostatic filters supply up to 500 liters of water per day in arid regions of Kenya. Welcome back to Africa 54. I'm Vincent Makori in Washington. A Kenyan startup is producing water for dry communities literally out of air. The company, Magic Water, uses an Indian-built device that pulls humidity out of the air using an electrostatic filter. With technology, it is able to supply up to 500 liters of water per day in arid regions. Victoria Munga reports from Nairobi.
Access to clean water is difficult for people living in the arid parts of Kenya. Due to climate change and more frequent droughts, Waterholes and rivers dry up more often, posing challenges for families trying to survive. A challenge that Kenyan startup Magic Water is helping to meet using this water generator. The device, made by the Tech company in India, pulls humidity from the atmosphere using an industrial fan. The moisture is trapped in silica gel before it's condensed using refrigerating gas that creates liquid water. The founder, Beth Koigi, says the generators can produce up to 500 liters of water a day.
Drought season are becoming quite regular, and the whole purpose for these systems is to enable communities to access clean drinking water without depending on the traditional water sources. So in regions where if borehole water dries or rivers, temporary rivers dries, communities can access clean drinking water.
At least 25 water generators paid for by humanitarian organizations have been distributed to vulnerable communities. School officials like Chris Musonye say having the water generator at his school has improved his learners' sanitation and academics.
The time we used to waste going to look for water, we no longer run up and down looking for water because we have water in school. So that means the performance has to go up.
A 2023 report by the World Health Organization found that worldwide, about 1.4 million people die annually and 74 million have their lives shortened by diseases related to poor water access, sanitation, and hygiene. Environmentalists say that as climate change increases water scarcity, inventing alternatives such as the device used by Magic Water is crucial.
It is a practical process. Issue is the cost of learning such an equipment, because actually it's like keeping a fridge open, or you're keeping a fridge open overnight. In the morning there will be enough water for you to drink. So it's actually practical. It's very practical, and it's a technology that we could probably enhance.
Kenya's water sector authorities are funding farms to produce water, especially in marginalized areas. Willis Ombai is CEO of the government's Water Sector Trust Fund. He tells VOA that currently at least 42% of water delivered through traditional sources like pipes or wells is stolen or lost through leaks.
They abstract water, they treat that water. Upon treatment, sometimes you find the water does not finally reach the intended customers who are connected. It is either lost through physical leaks or commercial. Commercial could be cartels or people who are conspiring to defraud the companies of those revenues.
Kenyan lawmakers are considering a bill that will privatize the water sector in hopes of spurring investment in the country's water sector.
Now you can come and see how water is being collected.
In the meantime, officials believe technologies like Magic Water can help boost access to clean water. Victoria Amunga, VOA News, Nairobi.
China has continued to cherish and cultivate its relationships with Nigeria by acknowledging both countries' national days, which is on October the 1st. October the 1st is the day of the founding of the People's Republic of China, while for Nigeria, it is the Independence Day.
It's a day for the celebration of close ties between China and Nigeria, one in which China celebrates the growth of diplomatic, economic and cultural ties between the two.
Representatives, Nigeria.
Consul General Yan Yuchin, revealing how warm her welcome to Nigeria was, highlighted China-Africa growth since Nigeria's independence in 1960.
China-Africa and China-Nigeria relations are at their best in history, with fruitful results that are evident to all. We will surely navigate the great ship of China-Africa solidarity and cooperation toward a bright future.
Her speech was followed by goodwill messages from state governors of Abia and Cross River, presented via video recording. The Deputy Governor of Ogun State, representatives of other states and government representatives, and a special one from the Lagos State Governor, represented by the Deputy Governor, Dr. Kadri Hamzat.
Beyond economic cooperation, I also want to commend the Chinese community for being a valuable part of our society, promoting cultural diversity and enriching the vibrant fabric of Lagos. We have witnessed the growth of Chinese language schools, cultural centers and businesses in Lagos, enriching our city and promoting understanding between our people.
A publication titled Understanding Friendship and Cooperation, starting a new chapter of China-Nigeria cooperation, was launched, and a special recognition given to individuals who've made outstanding contribution to the growth of Nigeria-China relations. Amarachi Ubani, Channel Television News.
Russian mercenaries hired to provide security in Burkina Faso began leaving the country in late August to defend Russia against Ukraine's incursion. Data shows the mercenaries have made little impact in the Sahel's war against Islamic terrorist groups. As Henry Wilkins reports, Burkina Faso saw one of the deadliest militant attacks in recent years the same week the Russians left.
Militants killed between 100 and 300 people in this August 24th attack on a town in northern Burkina Faso. It was one of the deadliest in the Sahel by groups linked to the Islamic State and Al-Qaeda. It came the same week a group of Russian mercenaries known as the Bear Brigade announced a partial withdrawal from the West African country to help counter Ukraine's incursion into Russia's Kursk region. One expert told VOA the mercenaries had been assisting with personal security for Burkina Faso's military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, and government officials.
Their withdrawal raises a lot of questions about what will happen to the security of these Burkinabe officials, who, it must be said, are facing a number of challenges.
Since September last year, Traoré has fended off 2 attempted coups, according to authorities. He came to power in a 2022 coup himself, claiming the previous military junta had failed to turn the tide in the country's war against Islamic militants. He also ended military cooperation with France and left the regional political bloc ECOWAS, enlisting the help of Russian mercenaries to aid in the war effort instead. Russian intervention has not stemmed the rise of Islamic terrorist groups in the Sahel, but Ian says.
It's true that the situation today continues to be bad, since the Burkinabe army is being pushed out of large swaths of land in many parts of the country with the rise in power of Jnim and ISIS.
In recent years, Russia has also sent mercenaries to Mali and Niger. Deaths from conflict have increased by 26% in the 3 countries in the last year. Data from the non-profit Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project show. Henry Wilkins, VOA News.
Cape Town's bicycle mayor, 34-year-old Mavundla, has been a leading figure in promoting the culture of cycling in the South African city. Through his Kalatsha Cycling Academy, he teaches first-time riders how to handle a bike.
Hi, my name is Sindile Mavundla, and I'm the bicycle mayor of Cape Town.
Located around 30 kilometers from the city center, Khayelitsha, the largest shanty town in Cape Town, is a sea of dilapidated wood, iron and concrete shacks. This is in sharp contrast to the city's leafy and affluent suburbs. It is here that Sindile Mavundla guides young girls on their bikes through a street in Cape Town's Khayelitsha township. He wants to get as many of them as he can into cycling.
Majority of girls in the township, they are not given much sport options, and we have always seen that bicycle has the potential of changing lives.
Students of the academy, some who once had to walk kilometers to get to their schools, can testify that life is vastly different.
It's very rare to see girls cycling, so I saw an opportunity of a lifetime. Girls cycling here in Khayelitsha is one of the best things.
Amid cheers from her classmates, a girl tries to ride a bicycle for the first time before fumbling and falling flat on the floor. Mavundla helps her get back on her feet, and she finally gets the hang of it. For many already using bicycles to commute to work and school, the city's infrastructure is still challenging to navigate. As a result, Roland Postman, a managing director at Young Urbanist South Africa, is working with the city to create safer and sustainable bicycle lanes to meet the growing number of cyclists across the city.
Cycling is a means of a very affordable transportation in not just Cape Town but across the country. To give an example, one tank of petrol is one second-hand bicycle. So it's a means of transportation. But the problem is most of Cape Town's cycling infrastructure is not safe.
The term bicycle mayor is given by Amsterdam-based global cycling advocacy group Bikes, which also has mayors in other African cities, including Nairobi, Gaborone, Lagos, and Abuja.
South Africa has seen several waves of immigration from China, with early generations of migrants fleeing extreme poverty at home and newer arrivals seeking business opportunities. Kate Bartlett has the story about Chinese South Africans who have established businesses in Johannesburg's old and new Chinatowns.
From duck to dim sum, the kitchen inside Shonde restaurant in Johannesburg gives Chinese immigrants a little taste of home. Hong Kong native and restaurant owner Kun Chan immigrated to South Africa almost 40 years ago.
It was easy to make money in South Africa back then.
Chan used to have a restaurant in the old original Chinatown. He closed that business because people got scared going to the old Chinatown due to crime. Chinese migrants have been living in Johannesburg before the old Chinatown was even built. The first Chinese arrived in the 17th century as convicts or slaves from what is now Indonesia with the Dutch East India Company. Then, during the early 1800s, Chinese indentured labourers were brought to work on the railways. The original Chinatown on Commissioner Street was established in the 1880s when free Chinese from the impoverished south of China came to the frontier mining town as part of the gold rush. Then, in 1948, South Africa established the apartheid system. Chinese living in the country were classified as coloured. Like black South Africans at the time, they were restricted to living in certain areas, but much has changed. Apartheid ended and a democratic government was formed in 1994. How ethnic Chinese immigrants from different backgrounds see each other also changed, says Arthur Ma.
Before, say 20 years ago, you could feel it because we don't even really speak to each other, the new and the old one. We just stick to our own selves, the local Chinese and the overseas Chinese. Now, we help one another.
Ma is a first-generation Chinese South African. His father fled poverty in southern China and arrived by boat in 1942. As life improved here, he sent money back home.
Then we actually helped build a hospital, give a little bit donation in our own village.
Now, Johannesburg's ethnic Chinese community includes people from Taiwan and Hong Kong. And as China opens up and prospers, there are new immigrants from mainland China.
Anything we need help, we always ask the new one because they're the ones with the money, you see, because China's going good. But we pave the road for them in this country.
Now there is a new, safer Chinatown where more Chinese gather in the suburb of Cyrildene. South African-born doctor Alice Yulin Phan's parents moved from Taiwan in the 1980s.
My dad and my aunt opened up factories in Bloemfontein, and then afterwards they opened up restaurants. So quite.
Yulin Phan and Chan's children and grandchildren can now live where they choose to live in the city. Many have professional jobs, but still come to the new Chinatown where Chan has relocated his restaurant. Eating, celebrating festivals, events that bring ethnic Chinese from different backgrounds together to keep traditions alive. Kate Bartlett, VOA News, Johannesburg.
Well, and that's our show for today. You can find all the continent's top news and world news online at voaafrica.com. Check it out. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington. Channels Television has our last word.
We look forward to bringing you another show next week. And do remember, channelstv.com is your source for news and other programming. I am Bukola Coker. Thank you for watching and goodbye.